Now see, this is an error most of us have experienced, and you discover the moment the edges are not congruent at the beginning, you may button smoothly all through, but it will surely catch up with you at the end of it, and you can't ignore it because it's very ugly. There are some mistakes we do, and because we do them continuously, the guilt disappears and we become complacent. We begin to feel like we are galvanized against the vicissitudes of life. And now, for example, you're working in an organization and you're laying hands on things that do not belong to you. You may feel like you're being smart and you're getting away with it, but believe you me, it will catch up with you at the ugly point. You're a man of God, people believe in you, and you're living a double life. Believe you me, at some point, you'll get to the ugly point. You're somewhere here, you're soon getting here. The kind of things we do behind the knowledge of our spouses, and we think we know how to play our cards. Don't worry, we are somewhere here, we are soon getting to the ugly point, a point you can't ignore, and it is not palatable. And so if you're buttoning and you discover there is a mistake you did at the beginning, I advise you to stop it and do everything and begin afresh, because it will surely catch up with you. Every time you are buying a mango, we only focus on the juicy succulent part. We don't think about the seed, because we don't eat the seed. It's actually very bitter. But it comes as a package. The moment you buy a mango, you buy the seed automatically inside. Every choice we make comes with its consequences as a package. You may not like the consequences, but the moment you make that decision, you lose power over the consequences and you have to deal with it. And so it's advisable to first of all consider if you're capable of dealing with the consequences. If no, leave it. When you're getting married to someone, it's like you're buying a mango, because the person comes as a package with both the negative sides and the positive sides. It comes with the seed and the succulent side. And so you can't say that I only like his beards, the stature and the muscles, but I hate the fact that he lies and cheats. That's a package. If you can't deal with the whole package, leave the person. You can't say I only like her curve and the teeth orientation, but I hate the fact that she's lazy and cantankerous by nature. That is her package. If you don't like the other side, drop the person. And so, check. If the seed is bigger than the succulent side, drop everything and run away. But if the seed is smaller, but the succulent side is bigger and sweeter, ignore the small seed and enjoy the fruits. Now see what's happening here. I shook both of them at the same time with equal energy. But now you see what is happening here. It actually erupted like a volcano and messed up everywhere. Now the most painful part is that I can't recover my soda. Once it is spilled, that is the end of it. Now, sometimes when you are angry, please close your mouth, because you may end up unleashing certain words that you never intended completely, and it can worsen the situation. And sometimes you may apologize and say, I'm sorry, but some words are like venom. They can poison someone's heart against you permanently. Now look at this one here. It's looking like nothing happened completely because I never opened it. And sometimes when you're angry, it is advisable to keep calm and postpone your action. You may even need to leave the place for a while and come back later to handle the situation. You'll realize you'll handle it with a lot of sobriety, and you'll be in charge of your thinking and your words. Believe you me, if I open this one later, nothing will happen. Don't let anger control you. Close your mouth sometimes so that you don't erupt hot magma. Now, as you can see, the bread came to the table with a cover. But the moment it reached the table, see where the cover belongs now? Dustbin. It is on the cover I read the expiry date of the bread. It is on the cover I read how to store the bread in cool, dry place. It is the same cover that protects the bread. It is the same cover that tells me the ingredients of the bread. But the moment the bread reaches the table, see where the cover belongs? Dustbin, because it has no more function. Now, any level you are in life, someone helped you. Someone paid your school fee. Someone recommended you somewhere. Someone accommodated you when you are homeless. Someone trained you and mentored you. But what do we do normally? We dispose them in the dustbin after getting whatever we needed. After the bread has reached the table, the cover belongs to the dustbin. Now, as you can see, once it is on the table, it has new companion, that is the blue band. Before we got married, we were very close to our parents. Once we got the new companion, our parents belongs to the dustbin. We don't even call them. We don't even know how they're doing. That is the end of them. We don't even visit them because we have new companion. You suffered with your spouse when you had nothing, when no one knew you. They covered your nakedness. When you now have the money, when you now have everything, where do they belong? Dustbin. And you have the new company, that is the slave queen or the slave king. When you had nothing, you prayed to God. You fasted with saliva and oxygen only. When God blessed you and you now have it, God is now in the dustbin and you now have the new companion. That is your job. Whenever you're invited to God's presence, you ask, what time will it end? But when you are asked, when you're invited to a social gathering, you ask, what time is it starting? In case there are people who helped you at any stage of your life that you disposed into the dustbin, I advise you to pick them up. You may not afford their financial needs, but you can afford a word of gratitude. A message of a thank you message, or a phone call to tell them a specific thing that they did to you is not too much. Disappointment is what you feel when an expectation has not been met. You can never be disappointed if you never expected anything. And the more you expect, the more you increase your chances of disappointment. And so long as you're dealing with people, disappointment is inevitable. People will disappoint you. And so, when you're dealing with people, reduce your expectations. With that, you'll be able to appreciate anything you get from people. But if you heighten your expectations, you'll be disappointed big time. And sometimes people don't disappoint you because they're wicked. But it could be they're also going through stuff. Okay? And sometimes you complain, Mara, my family members are not doing for me this. My wife, my husband has not done for me this. And you are always complaining. Now, will you spend the rest of your life on the complaint counter? That should not be the case. If you heap your expectations of human being and you depend fully on people, you'll be disappointed big time. And what happens to us also, that whenever we are praying to God, we are giving God a script to follow. You want God to answer your prayers in a certain way, specifically. And you want Him to use certain people. I mean, God knows what is best for you, and He knows how to do it well. You know, sometimes we say, God, control my life, and you're grabbing the steering. Let God control. When you do your part of asking, but let him do his part of answering. Don't help him to answer your prayers by giving him suggestions. Now, when you depend on people, you are tying your life on people. You are donating your heart for heartbreaks. And very soon you'll be heartless. Don't fully depend on people. With that, you'll be very, very peaceful with people. Because the more you depend on people, the more you are increasing potential enemies. I have seen, it was so painful to hear that a friend of mine passed away because he asked for help for various people, but no one reached to him for help. And because of that, he saw no need to live anymore, and he decided to delete himself from the face of the earth. If he had a provision in his heart that if people don't help me, I depend on God, he would have not taken that step. But he believed that if he doesn't get help from people, that is the end of him, and that is why he took that kind of a decision. As you depend on people, yes, it is good for us to be helped by people, but don't put your heart there fully. You'll be disappointed. A whole bucket of water and a small portion of potassium permanganate. Now let's see what's happening. Now, potassium permanganate is a chemical and it can diffuse very fast. Now, see what has happened. So, this is exactly what happens to us too. As you can see, just a small pinch of potassium permanganate has contaminated a whole bucket of water. The same way, you discover that we are very good in many areas, but just one weakness in the area of character or habits destroys other good parts. And so you hear someone saying that so-and-so is very competent in his work, but is very dubious, or is very talented, but unreliable and does not know how to relate well with people, or is very intelligent, but very proud. He's very beautiful, but very arrogant. Or you have so many intelligent ideas, but none of them is executed. You have so many projects that you started, but none of them got finished. And so it is the but in the statement that contaminates everything. It is the but that is the potassium permanganate that contaminates all the good things about us. Before we heap blames on circumstances and people around us, I suggest that we first of all do self-audit to check if there is any potassium permanganate that is that is responsible for our drawback. Because in most cases, the enemy is within. This is a game most of us played in primary school. If you're keen enough, you discover that as I was folding it, I was applying some force for it to fold well. Now let us unfold it and see what happens. As you can see, there are fold lines, and so if I want to fold it once again, I don't need to apply force anymore. In fact, it will suggest the pattern by itself, and I get back my boat very quickly. Very quickly, without struggling. And here comes my boat very quickly. Now, what happens here? The fold lines form an easy way of repetition And so even if I don't want to fold it, it will suggest the pattern by itself. Now, this is how habits operate. It is not easy to form a habit, whether a negative one or a positive one. Ask a smoker. He will tell you that the first time he smoked, he coughed seriously. Ask someone who has formed a habit of doing exercise every day. They will tell you that when they started, it was not easy. But as they kept on doing it, slowly by slowly, it became their habit. We form habits, but later habits form us. Habits override logic. And that is why sometimes you know very well that what I'm doing is hurting me, what I'm doing is finishing me. But to find yourself doing the same thing over and over again. If you have a bad spending habit, it does not matter how much you earn. The more you earn, the more you squander in large scale. And so sometimes you ask yourself, but I earn a lot of money. How come there is nothing I can show? I have nothing to show. What is happening with me? Could it be someone bewitched me? Check on your habits. It could be the reason why. If you set a negative habit, it will control your life. And imagine a wrong habit controlling your life forever. But there is hope for us, because anything that can be formed can be unformed. And the fastest way to do away with the wrong habit is to replace it with a new one. It might be difficult at the beginning, but if you keep persisting, if you keep doing it every now and again, you will overcome the wrong habits. Habits can control your life. So check on the habit you're forming. Is it the right one or the wrong one? It starts small. Be very careful the little things you do. Anything that you try, anything that you find yourself doing, you try stopping and you can't stop it easily. That is a habit. Ensure it is the right one. No matter how much water I pour into this bucket, no matter how long I wait, it will never get full. Why? The water is leaking on arrival. African nations are like this bucket. Africa has leaks of corruption. And so it does not matter how much tax we collect from the citizen. It does not matter how much donation we get from the developed countries. It does not matter how much we borrow. So long as the leaks of corruption are still there, the visions we have for our country will still remain a mirage. Why? The money is leaking out on arrival. I pity the hoi polloi, that is the simple citizen. Imagine the tax you are paying is leaking out into the hands of few merciless devourers who are using the public funds to galvanize themselves against poverty. Who will help us block these leaks of corruption? Do you think one person can single-handedly block these leaks? I believe it has to be an orchestra of the leaders and the citizens who have vowed to slay this monster called corruption. We see the corruption leaks everywhere. At our workplace, we see them. In our business premises, we see them. But what are we doing about it? Because if we continue this way, we are passing this into generations and the generations to come. It all starts with what each and every one of us is doing on a daily basis. Let me tell you a true story. One day I took public means of transport from Nairobi CBD to the estate where I stay. In Kenya we call them matatu. And so the matatu conductor quoted a certain amount as fare to an estate past where I stay. And so it was obvious that if I paid that amount, then I was sorted because my destination was even closer. When I was almost alighting, I gave him 100 Kenyan shillings. And he gave me back my balance, but I discovered it was less with a few coins. So I asked him, sir, you said estate A is this amount, and we're not there yet. How come you are charging more? Then he looked at me with his face wrinkled with anger and mumbled certain words that I didn't hear well. He threw a few coins at me, jumped inside matatu, and immediately the matatu took off. He insulted me. He said, I am rubbish. Of course, you know, I had the right to get angry. I felt annoyed. But as I was walking towards my house, I asked myself certain questions. And the first question I asked myself, why did he insult me? Then I discovered he insulted me because I challenged him, and in the process enlightened other passengers. So I denied him a chance to defraud them. The second question I asked myself, is what he said about me true? Of course, no. I know myself, I'm not rubbish. I don't live in dustbin. And so if someone calls me rubbish, I don't feel exposed. Probably it's the one that is having mental rubbish, because out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaketh. And so I realized it was useless. It was a misuse of emotions, a waste of emotions. Getting angry at him. In life, there is only one person who can insult you effectively, and whatever he says about you will come to pass, and that is you. People insult you with the intention to hurt you. And so if you respond violently, what you're trying to do is giving them a feedback that they have succeeded in hurting you. I don't think you're that cheap to allow people manipulate your emotions just to massage their own ego. Some things do not deserve your anger. You can't reach your destination if you keep chasing every dog that barks at you. Your response to insult reveals your level of emotional intelligence. Don't fight useless battles. It is not a sign of weakness. It is strength in control. Now, this is 1,000 Kenyan shilling. You saw how I squeezed it, put it on the dust, and trampled on it. Now, did it reduce to 500? No. Did it reduce to 200 Kenyan shillings? No. No matter the harsh treatment and the experience I took it through, the value still remains the same. Why do people think that when a lady gives birth while still in school or before getting married, then their value is reduced? Well, I'm not trying to advocate for that. But when it happens, the lady should not reduce her value and get married to any Tom, Dick, and Harry thinking that they're desperate. Their intelligence has not reduced. Their intellectual faculty is still intact, and so they can still go back to school and fulfill their vision in life. This note only becomes useless if I cut it into small pieces and throw it away, or if I burn it. You only become unproductive when you die. So long as you're still alive, your value is still intact. Now, the value of this note is not on the appearance. The value of this note is in what it can buy. What people say about you does not determine your value. People's opinion about you can never become your reality. Now, if I believe this note is useless, I can shred it into pieces and throw it away. But if I believe this note is still valuable, I will take it to the supermarket and do shopping with it. Let me tell you something, people. No matter what you have experienced in life, if you think it is over with you, you'll sit down and wait for fate to judge your case. But if you believe that your inner value is still intact, you will pick up your life, stretch your vision, dust your past, and fulfill your destiny. Forget about the people who took you through the experience. Focus. Now, see how powerfully I'm dressed. Would someone imagine I'm wearing torn shirt? Of course, no. Would someone imagine there are holes in my socks? Of course, no. And someone will look at me and admire. Someone can even be jealous. But this is what is happening every day. You know, sometimes you log into the social media and see posts of your friends and your mates enjoying life, you know, scooping life with a big spoon. And you ask yourself, what is wrong with me? Am I the only person that is not happy? You ask yourself, am I a biological accident? Am I a waste of space on earth? And you start hating yourself because of that. But the truth is that you don't know the reality. People don't show you the challenges they go through. People don't show you their reality. People choose what they want you to know, and that is what they show you. 3 ways to earn respect from people. There are many others, but I want to center on 3 main ones. Number 1, keep your words. When people know you to be a person of his or her words, they tend to respect you. It may not be possible to keep all the promises you make, but at least ensure you communicate in prayer. Another aspect of the same is speaking one thing and sticking to it, not saying one thing here and another there. When people discover you are double-mouthed, they lose respect for you. The second one is don't badmouth people. As the common statement goes that whoever tells you negative things about people will also tell people negative things about you. Gossiping is sweet, by the way, and especially if you're the one that knows hidden negative things about people. You feel superior in a way. You feel like you have the monopoly of secrets. But the truth is that the people enjoying your gossip will be the first to lose respect for you. When something happens to them, they'll be very insecure with you because they know you as a public address. Your friends also have friends. And when it leaks out that you are the one diffusing the rumors, your respect will evaporate immediately. When someone reports a friend or a partner to you, or says something negative about them, don't be quick to comment negatively, because these people may reconcile later, but they will never forget your negative comments, and you remain the enemy. The third one, be yourself. When you try to be someone else, the best you can be is number 2. When you try to copy people, you are denying us the real you. You are denying us your uniqueness. And anytime you realize that you have to fake yourself or act against your conscience to fit somewhere, then take it from me, you don't belong there. Your ability to conform will earn you acceptance in certain places, but your uniqueness will earn you respect. There is no way you can please everyone and fail to be an enemy of yourself. People respect those who know and value their uniqueness. Try these 3 and watch your respect shoot up. To get more of my videos, kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel at Kelly Inspiration. Thank you. Between the 2 glasses, which one appears to have more content than the other? Of course, this one looks like it is overflowing. But the truth is that this is just form, which will settle down. Just give it time. After a while, the form will settle, and you realize that the liquid will not even be half the glass. It will actually be at the base. This is what happens when you have talent without character to control your personal life. The talent can lift you and people will admire you, thinking you are very successful. But it's a matter of time, because the bad character will one day expose you, and the real you will be known. Because you are blurred by the cataract of money and fame, you may think everything is okay until later in life when it will dawn on you that talent and money cannot substitute good character. Let me give you an example that many people may not like. King Solomon was the wisest man that ever lived on earth. But the Bible records that he asked God for wisdom to lead his people. And he was given the wisdom. And mark the statement, wisdom to lead God's people. In other words, professional wisdom. And of course, we saw what happened. With that wisdom, he married 700 wives and had 300 concubines. In other words, he had 1,000 women. And the Bible indicates that the strange women diverted his heart from God. And so it is possible to have professional wisdom and lack wisdom for your personal life. It is very possible to be very skillful in what you do, but you don't have wisdom to manage your own life. Haven't you seen people who are very good at what they do, but cannot put pieces of their lives together? No matter the achievement outside there, if your personal life is a mess, you don't belong in the list of successful people. We've seen athletes, we've seen footballers, we've seen all kinds of people who are at the verge of their breakthrough, but a character they never worked on brought them down. If you overlook a wrong character and think charisma and talent can cover it, then it's a matter of time. It will settle down and the real you will be seen within time. I see people record all kinds of videos. Some people even do videos when they're almost naked just to go viral in order to be known. But now, what do you gain if you go viral for wrong reasons? What we forget is that as you advance in age, your values also change. And a time will come that we look at what you used to do some years back, and you wonder if you are really in charge of your faculties. What we also forget is that internet never forgets. And one day you'll rise, and you'll be surprised how people keep information. And one day when you're at the verge of your breakthrough, someone will pull out a video or a photo you took many years ago, and that can really work against you. As you build your talent or skills, don't forget that it is character that will sustain you when you get up there. Truth be told, people like this never last in the market. They fade off very quickly, and even if they stay with scandals after the other. Don't ignore character. Nothing can substitute good character. As you can see, I'm peeling off the layers of this onion, and a fresh one is emerging immediately. Look at how shiny it is. As I peel it off, another one is inside waiting. Another one is inside waiting. As I peel it off, this one is waiting to emerge. Believe me, I can peel off this one, another one will be inside. And it will be a continuous layers until the onion finishes. That is how it is. So the onion is actually made of layers of peels. That is exactly how human needs are. Human needs can never be satisfied fully. They're like the layers of the onion. You satisfy one, another fresh one emerges. You start to satisfy that one, another fresh one emerges. Until you die, there is no point you'll reach and say, I don't have any need. You could be satisfied physically, but emotionally you need something. That is just how life is. And so life is made up of layers of needs. Imagine every time you need something, you are stressed. When you need something, you are stressed. So in other words, you'll be stressed throughout your life because human needs are recurring. The lifespan of your happiness is when the thing is still relevant. Once it is over, the stress enters. So in other words, this stress ends, another one begins. Which kind of a life is that? And you find yourself in that cycle of torment the whole of your life. Now you have a life to live, and the quality of your life is determined by physical and mental health. And so as you strive to achieve something, don't pour all your emotions into it. Let it not be like if you don't get it, you die. And the truth is this, apart from good health, any other thing is just an accessory of life. Imagine you are trying to please someone by straining to fulfill all their needs. What kind of a miserable life will that will be? And then one day, it happens that you can't satisfy a need. And the person talks to you anyhow or behaves anyhow. And then you're like, all this I've done to you. You can still afford to do this to me? Or you can still afford to talk to me that way? The truth is this, my brother, my sister. Don't even expect gratitude because very few people show it. Second thing, yesterday's satisfaction cannot quench today's thirst. You can't say, I ate very well last week and so there's no need of eating this week. This week has its own needs. And that is how it is. So don't kill yourself striving to satisfy someone's needs. You can't. It is impossible. So do it to an elastic limit and let God pick up from there.
Okay, thank you so much for watching. And just before you go, did you know I have a free book, 7 Habits of Calm and Happy People? I read a lot of books on this and really condensed it into this with some exercises too. I think you're gonna like it if you want more peace and happiness in your life. So you can find it at findcalm.com/book. Findcalm.com/book. So